Digital compliance tools strengthen resilience. Companies preparing for 2026 are facing a very different regulatory environment than they did a year ago. The first year of Donald J. Trump's return to the presidency brought an aggressive deregulatory agenda, paired with active court challenges and competing state and international mandates, that has fundamentally changed how businesses think about compliance. As environmental rules shift, pause, or undergo legal scrutiny, digital compliance platforms are becoming essential tools for staying ahead of operational, legal, and climate-related risks. The market signals this shift clearly. Analysts project environmental compliance software will grow at 9 to 12% annually through 2031, with the broader compliance management market heading toward $75 billion by 2031. ESG software, fueled by investor demands and global reporting rules, continues expanding at 20% plus annual growth, even as federal policy shifts. EHS platforms, now intertwined with environmental and climate risk, are on track to approach $100 billion globally by the early 2030s. This growth reflects a larger strategic reorientation. Compliance systems are no longer just documentation hubs, they are becoming core infrastructure for resilience. 2025 deregulatory shifts create new compliance pressures. In 2025, the administration initiated what the EPA called the biggest deregulatory action in U.S. history, targeting rules across air pollutants, chemical releases, and permitting. Several sectors, including iron and steel, chemical manufacturing, and petrochemicals, received multi-year compliance extensions for hazardous air pollutant rules. Simultaneously, executive actions rescinded dozens of prior climate and environmental directives. For corporate environmental teams, this did not simplify compliance. Instead, it introduced regulatory instability, creating scenarios where rules change faster than internal processes can adjust. State and federal standards diverge. Courts overturn or reinstate rules. Mid-compliance cycle. Investor and insurer expectations remain stricter than federal requirements. Two high-profile 2025 rulings further complicated corporate planning. Federal courts rejected attempts to halt offshore wind permitting, underscoring that legal oversight, not federal executive direction, may ultimately determine regulatory boundaries. Companies operating across energy, manufacturing, and infrastructure sectors now face a fragmented environment where rule changes, court decisions, and state actions move at different speeds. Digital tools capable of tracking regulatory updates, documenting compliance history, and generating audit-ready records are becoming essential in this landscape, from reporting portals to enterprise risk engines. As regulatory baselines shift, companies are leaning on software platforms that blend environmental data, operational risk modeling, and automated compliance oversight. The most significant developments entering 2026 include integrated climate and hazard modeling. Compliance platforms now incorporate floodplain data, heat stress forecasts, drought indicators, and wildfire probability maps. These tools allow teams to align compliance actions with facility-level resilience measures, supporting capital planning and insurance reviews. Predictive compliance and operational safeguards. EHS systems use machine learning to detect deviations in air emissions, water discharges, and equipment performance. This helps companies avoid violations before they occur, a critical capability when enforcement expectations fluctuate. Cross-jurisdictional rule management. With the EU CSRD and multiple U.S. states advancing their own climate reporting frameworks, companies need systems that reconcile conflicting requirements and generate consistent disclosures. Investor and insurer-ready data trails. Even as federal rules loosen, capital markets have not. Investors and insurers increasingly require auditable environmental data during underwriting, lending, and risk assessments. As a result, digital compliance infrastructure is evolving into the operational bridge that connects environmental performance, regulatory obligations, and resilience planning. Why 2026 represents a turning point. The combined effect of deregulation, legal uncertainty, and climate volatility positions 2026 as the first year in which corporate resilience hinges as much on data integrity and digital systems as on physical infrastructure. Key drivers include regulatory unpredictability, increasing compliance risk. Frequent rule changes mean companies must document compliance decisions with precision. Climate impacts, intensifying operational threats, heat, water scarcity, and storm risk require real-time monitoring and predictive models, not retrospective reports. Global reporting expectations rising despite U.S. rollbacks. Companies with global supply chains must align with stricter international requirements regardless of U.S. federal direction. Technology convergence improving decision speed. The merging of ESG, EHS, environmental compliance, and risk platforms gives leaders a single operational picture. Companies entering 2026 with mature digital compliance systems will be more capable of navigating this uncertainty, demonstrating due diligence, protecting assets, and responding quickly to environmental or regulatory disruptions. The strategic outlook: compliance as resilience infrastructure. The first year of Trump's presidency reshaped the regulatory landscape, but it also accelerated a corporate shift already underway. Businesses are recognizing that environmental compliance tools are no longer peripheral to operations. They are strategic systems that safeguard continuity. By combining automated reporting, real-time monitoring, predictive analytics, and regulatory intelligence, digital compliance platforms now underpin how organizations understand risk, demonstrate accountability, and prepare for increasingly volatile conditions. For companies planning for 2026 and beyond, resilience begins with the ability to see, measure, and manage environmental exposures in real time. Digital compliance tools are becoming the backbone that makes that possible. You've been listening to Sustainability Soundbites by Environment+Energy Leader. For partnership opportunities, please reach out to our team. And don't forget to submit your entry for the 2026 awards program. Deadline is 12/31/2025.